Namaste. Hello everyone. Welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Today I'm going to talk to you about an idea which has fascinated mankind over thousands of years. And that idea is to be the ruler or the chieftain or the king of a tribe, a land, or then a nation. And sometimes people have even tried to be the leaders of the entire world. And I wonder if you have been watching the very popular TV serial Game of Thrones. I think that best encapsulates this fascinating idea of mankind. Everyone challenging everyone else to ascend to the highest throne of all, to be the emperor of the world. And in India, in Hinduism, we have also known this since ancient times. We have had the concept of a Chakravarti Samrat, which means the universal emperor. And that's why many of our symbols are associated with the chakra, the wheel. And we have also had something called the Ashwamedh Yajna. Usually, yajnas are done with fire ritual, and a pandit sits around them and invokes the subtle deities. But the Ashwamedh was that a great king who already had a very big empire would take a very fast horse, a very healthy horse, and let it loose on the lands outside of his own kingdom. And the idea would be that wherever the horse went, it would either be stopped by the leader of that land, who would then engage this king in a duel to see who was supreme, or then he would let the horse pass, and that would be giving his consent that indeed this king is sovereign over him and is the king of his land as well. Now, while we are all interested in gaining a position of power, and we see this happening between animals as well. In the jungle, there is the law of the jungle, there is the rule of the jungle, and we say the lion is the king of the jungle. Between us human beings, we also vie with each other in different platforms, in economies, in IT, in industry, and of course in warfare to gain supremacy. And we are told that this sort of fetish to gain control happens even with the devatas, the celestial beings. And the devatas are always vying with each other as to who is superior. And of course, the most superior is called Indra Devata, who then becomes the king of the devatas. And at other times, they are busy fighting with the asuras, who are a race of demons, and they want to establish supremacy over each other. But when it comes to Shiva, we see that he does not wear a crown, he does not declare himself as a king. We hardly see any depictions of him on a throne or holding a congregation, a darbar. So, does he not vie for supremacy? Does he not want to be the king or the emperor of a small land or the planet or maybe the universe itself? And this brings us to another interesting film, which is called Lord of the Rings. It was also a great success, and it was also talking about different tribes of different kinds of people, starting from humans to goblins to celestial beings, tribes which lived on ground, which lived underground, which lived in the air, which lived in the water, and so on. And the title of the film itself, Lord of the Rings, sort of gave a hint that this was again a battle for supremacy. Now, when it comes to Shiva, like I said, he doesn't wear a crown, gold and jewelry does not lure him, competitions, display does not find any interest from his side, and he's usually happy to be a fringe god in the mountains where few people go, happy with his ganas, his friends, and his extended family. But once, one of my friends asked me to give a very brief description of Shiva. And he said, "What is Shiva the god of?" And this was many years ago. And I started off a discourse, and he said, no, tell me in one sentence, Shiva is the god of what? And he belonged to Tibetan Buddhism, where they have deities, and they are very brief, very clear about which deity stands for what. So he wanted me to answer in the same way. And then I gave it a thought, and if I had to describe Shiva, who's so many things in one, but if I had to give one word, I answered, Shiva is the god of power, which finds a great verification in his spouse Durga, who is the goddess of power. So if Shiva, Mahadev, is the god of power, Devon ke Dev, god of gods, how come he's not interested in these competitions, in these kind of yagyas which proclaim supremacy? That is because he is so mighty, he is so big, that he knows that no one really needs to master the universe. It belongs to us all. He is the creator of the universe itself. He can have dominion over it whenever he wants, but he prefers to share it with everybody and let everyone be a king in their own home, which is the right way to go about things. Few episodes back, I spoke to you about the Shiva Sutras, where one of the sutras describes the word Chakra Ishta, which means Lord of the Wheel. And it is very interesting that this corresponds so much with the concept of Lord of the Rings, or the Game of Thrones that we are talking about. Shiva is Chakra Ishta. He is the Lord of the collective wheel of all energies, all Shaktis, all mantras, and all of creation. Why then is there any need for him to conquer it all, or to proclaim himself as the king of the universe? Because he already is that. He allows for us to go on in our daily lives with a reasonable amount of free will to do what we want, allows for us to build our kingdoms, and they don't have to be only in the material world. They can be in the world of thought, in the world of imagination, in the world of discovery, in the world of harmony. And that is his design. Being the Chakra Ishta, his design is that all his creation should be able to discover, invent, wander, grow, play. But when things do go wrong, Then there is a time when Shiva himself can appear as the Chakra Ishta, use his power as Mahakal, and change the very time itself. That is what he can do as the great Ishta, the god of everythingness, including time. I told you last time that as Mahakal, he actually creates time. He is an eternal witness to all these games of thrones, all these lords of the rings, and all this play and growth. And when the play and growth gets a little out of hand, and over time, when Shiva observes that the play is no longer a play and that it needs to be controlled or intervened or given a new direction, that is the time when he appears as the most powerful of all, the Chakra Ishta of the entire universe, and changes the time itself. Like a great captain on a great ocean liner or a great jumbo jet in the skies, when he sees that there is too much turbulence and he has provision to change course, 30 degrees east or 30 degrees west or 20 degrees incline, so on and so forth. So this was a little take on Shiva as Chakra Ishta, Lord of the Wheel. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe to the channel and be with me next Monday for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Om Namo Shivaya.